annual National Night Out is coming to the town of Mount Pleasant. It's a way for residents to bond with local law enforcement. Today, I talk one-on-one with Don Calabrese of the town of Mount Pleasant for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Don Calabrese, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I know that you're the public information officer for the town of Mount Pleasant's police department, and I know that you wanted me to talk to you about the National Night Out, which is going to be happening, I believe, next week. And I know that National Night Out culminates annually on the first Tuesday in August.
It does.
Yeah. What's new this year, and what's now?
We're excited. So last year, we had the event in 2019. It was canceled last year, but it was the first time we moved it to Waterfront Park.
Yeah.
So the police department has evolved it so much over the years. We've gone from parking lots to community centers to rec buildings, but we found the perfect location here at the town of Mount Pleasant at the Waterfront Park. So we're excited to get back to it. And we have live music, which is exciting. We have partnered with a music school off Long Point Road, Bach to Rock, Mount Pleasant, and they have student performers that come out and play live music, which is kind of cool. And other than that, we have our normal police displays. Our officers are going to be out there. It's a great chance to come out and meet us, get to know us, and we can get to know our community in kind of a positive setting where it's not a call for service or you're not having a situation. So it'll be a really good environment for that.
As a matter of fact, National Night Out enhances the relationship between neighbors and law enforcement while bringing back a true sense of community. What's that true sense of community right now?
We've always valued the relationship we've had with our community. National Night Out's not a new thing, and it's not a new thing for the police department. This goes back to the early 80s when we were doing Neighborhood Watch. And the idea behind Neighborhood Watch is get to know your neighbors, get to know your area, and when people come together on the same page, that'll reduce crime. So we've kind of applied that concept to this program or this event. So we get out there, we get to know people, and we can hear from people in a different setting. So many times the officers are on a call or in their car, and you might have a question, but if the officer's in the middle of dealing with something, it's not the best time for this. So this is great because it's an open forum. We're out there. You get to meet people and see what we can do, and we can hear from you. So we've always appreciated that relationship with the community. We've always done stuff like this in addition to our Special Olympics and school supply fundraisers. And I mean, that's what we do at the police department. It's in our mission statement to enhance the wellness of the community by working in partnership, and we're excited to do it.
What is the wellness of the community right now?
I think we're doing great. We've come together. We're excited to get back. Unfortunately, with COVID, we had to shut down a little bit from some of our events, and we're getting back to it. We've got Coffee with a Cop coming back up. We've got our Citizens Police Academy coming back up. And luckily, through social media, we're able to still connect during times where it was hard. So we have a reading patrol program that we were able to put out virtually. We were able to put out some spotlight videos from some of our officers. We always try to highlight what they're doing out on the road, and I think we're doing great.
And I know National Night Out provides a great opportunity to bring the police and neighbors that is, together under positive circumstances. What other circumstances, Don, as of late, have brought neighbors and your police department together?
I think just being open. We've always sought out input from the public and our community, and we've kind of laid that groundwork. I think our accreditation process helps that. We're accredited through CALIA, and that happened in the early 90s. And part of that process is establishing a standard. So it's a wide variety of law enforcement leaders, both sworn and not sworn, throughout the world. And they set the standard. I think there's 371 proofs, and they say to be accredited, you need to be at this level. And we've adopted that community policing philosophy. I think we were first accredited in 1993, and all we've done is build on it. So we're a flagship agency, which means that if any other department wants to become accredited, they can follow our model, our policies, procedures, and they'll meet that standard. So I think it's important to set a high standard and stick to it.
How do you build on that standard 5-10 years from now?
I think we keep growing and growing and growing, and it's constantly evaluating what we're doing, what's working, what's not working, and embracing the technology. The technology has been crucial in our social media efforts and things like that. So just a good example for me personally as the public information officer, I didn't know how to work Instagram before I got in this office. Well, that is a vital tool. We have people that come in through the employment process that have said they're looking at law enforcement news and that. It's a tool that people are looking to get their news. So it's something that we have to adapt and figure out. So I did a couple tutorials and just little things like that. It's all about looking at what the needs are of the community and meeting them. So we're constantly looking, and I think events like this help, because if somebody says, oh, you should do this kind of program or this, and we can hear from them and take it.
Absolutely. And I know on the website you all said this together. We are making communities safer, more caring places to live. How safe and caring is Mount Pleasant?
I think very safe. It goes back to that relationship, that strong relationship we have, a community sense of it. So when I was talking about accountability before, officers are assigned to a neighborhood for 9 months at a time. And that really gives them a sense of what's going on in that area. And they rotate shifts, so they get to see daytime, evening, midnight shift. And then the next step from there is our road sergeants are accountable for a certain area. So while these officers are on patrol, if they see an issue or something comes across, or if something comes to the public information office, we have a good system in place where we can say, all right, this neighborhood's concerned about this, and we have people that are accountable for it. So it just helps the communication flow, which is so important. And then these sergeants are responsible for it. And when I was on the road as a road supervisor and an officer, and whatever it is, we look at the quality of life, and anything we can do to help, we will. And we have a great relationship with everybody else in the town. So if it's a zoning issue, a coding issue, a fire safety issue, it's a good avenue to make all that connect.
And I hate to be redundant, Don, but what is the quality of life in Mount Pleasant?
I think it's great. I live here in Mount Pleasant with my family. When I started working here, I was looking at where to live and raise a family, and there's nowhere else I would want to be. And that's not just because of the police department. The recreation department's great. The fire department's great. It's an amazing place to raise your kids. The schools are good, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we want to just look at what's going on in our community all the time and see ways that we can make it better. And I think that's what we're doing. We're always kind of looking on a swivel. What's going on? If there's an issue we can fix, we'll do it, and we'll move on.
Move on. What are today's safety topics?
So for safety topics, the one thing, and kind of going back to your last question, the one thing that unfortunately we have problems with in town is car break-ins, or what we call them thefts from unlocked cars. I mean, unfortunately, because we are so safe and secure, sometimes people don't take those chances to lock their car doors. So we've been pushing out the 9 p.m. routine pretty regularly. We actually just ordered some signs today to push that out. And the 9 p.m. routine is at 9 p.m. Stop, take your valuables out of your car, lock your car door, and turn your porch lights on. So light is one of the biggest deterrents of crime, and that helps us to help you. But locking your car doors is so important. Unfortunately, we're not seeing it, and we're seeing vehicles being stolen because people are leaving the keys in them, firearms being stolen, in addition to money and computers and things like that. But we don't want people to have these items taken when they could be locked. And every now and again, we do have some forced entry car break-ins and stuff that maybe is a little less preventable. But that would be the biggest safety tip from us right now for car break-ins, is to lock your car doors and take those keys and guns out of them too.
And how do you heighten drug and obviously crime prevention awareness in the town of Mount Pleasant?
So we have a great relationship with Wake Up Carolina and the Charleston Center, and we started an initiative with the opioid epidemic called the First Step program, and one of our sergeants runs that. And what it is that partnership, and it's looking at this problem from a community approach, or a whole community approach. So the police department, we can arrest people for certain things, but that we've realized a long time ago that that's not the only solution to that problem. So we've partnered with those agencies and those people and our community stakeholders, and we've looked at situations where we can improve somebody's quality of life. So if we can get them into a treatment facility quicker, that's better for them. So in an instance where we might respond to an overdose and Narcan's used and the person's alive, we can take that opportunity to get them into treatment that day or the next day. So it's not the normal process where it takes a little bit. And we couldn't do that without Nancy Shipman and all of her crew at Wake Up Carolina and Caitlin Kratz with the Charleston Center. They've been so important. We're actually coming up into August. August 31st is National Opioid Overdose Awareness Day. So we partner with them and do some events. Caitlin and the Charleston Center, they come in and do free Narcan training once a month. We host that here at the police department. So we put that out, and we just got back. Just last month, we did our first in person. So I think coming together and looking at it from a partner approach is the best thing that we can do.
Who are those other stakeholders, Don, that you want to bring to the table as far as crime in generalities, trying to stop crimes in generalities?
Everybody. We look at everybody across the town. So just looking at pushing this National Night Out event, I've reached out to every person I can think of. Our news media partners have been awesome. You've been awesome for helping us get this word out. Newspaper, radio, news media, so helpful. We've pushed this out to all of our employees. There's 800 employees in the town, so we push out that information. A lot of people live in our community, and we've reached out to the churches, the school resource officers. I know everybody isn't a very good answer for you, but I can't think of a group that we haven't reached out to. We have business partnerships, churches. Like I said, we've been pushing this out everywhere, and that's the good thing about social media. That's been helpful, but we've also started a new program that kind of hits on this. Is we have officers on one of our teams that are going door to door to kind of help with our car break-ins that we're having. So they have a little card, and they have car break-in prevention tips, and they've been going, now that some of the COVID restrictions have changed, they've been going door to door and meeting with residents, having that face-to-face contact, and that's face-to-face interaction. There's no substitute for it. You can send out emails and do press releases, but getting back to that community field, door to door, meeting people, it just breeds great conversation. And then if you talk to someone and say, this is what you could do better for preventing a car break-in, well, naturally the police car and the officer kind of generate some attraction or attention. And that way somebody says, hey, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's great. Actually, here's what we're talking about. So we push it out everywhere, and we're kind of following back up with this face-to-face interaction through these programs that we're doing door to door, helping our residents. And then this platform of National Night Out, where you're going to have probably 50 to 60 of our officers. Basically, if someone's not working the street that night, they're going to be there. And face-to-face interaction, there's no substitute for.
Absolutely. And, I failed to ask you this, Don, but substance abuse, what are the statistics from pre-COVID to right now after some of these restrictions have been lifted?
I don't have any numbers on it. I know it's been something that we've been on top of. I mean, because during the whole pandemic, the police department operations, we didn't stop because police, fire, EMS, that kind of stuff's 24/7. So we continued to handle those calls. Like I said, I don't have any numbers, but all of those things were still in place. So nobody lost any service from us or these other organizations. It just looked a little bit different. So still important.
Still important. And let me ask you this: how are you generating support for anti-crime efforts?
We're here. We're always receptive to feedback and things like that. So we have partnerships with so many local, state, and federal jurisdictions. We have officers on different task force, or we have our deputy chief is part of the CJCC. So we're part of that. It's almost anything that we can be involved in. We really look bigger picture outside of the town to say, what can we be a part of and what can we work together on?
And I know a national community building campaign is what really promotes police community partnerships. What's the partnership between the Mount Pleasant Police Department and the community today?
I think it's great. I think we do a good job of having these programs in place. Like I said, the neighborhood program where officers are assigned to that, all of our programs through the schools. So we have SROs in all the schools, but then outside of school, we do a back to school supply drive every year. We do a coat fundraiser. We've even started doing pet adoption events over at the at Bell Hall Shopping Center. So we're really looking at everything that we can do to help the community. And every time we're out there, it's an opportunity for people to get to know us or see what we're doing. So it's important to realize a lot of our activities are outside of traditional law enforcement. Everything we do doesn't revolve around a crime or anything like that, but it goes back to the community and the wellness. So if we can get together with people and make it better, we will.
Yeah. And guess what? I was supposed to be over at the Bell Hall Shopping Center today
Oh, really?
to do the interview with you here. Yeah.
That's funny. We'll
Yeah,
have to have you by the new town hall. We opened a couple years ago. I don't know if you've been by.
oh yes, yes, sir. Matter of fact, I was just over there last week, so I'm going to come back by soon for sure.
Yeah, well, let me know. And then our track is being redone. I know we always see you out running around town, so
Yes, yes,
maybe we can get you on the track one day when it opens up. We could do another one.
absolutely. When it was not too hot outside, too.
Yeah, I'm thinking October-ish.
Yeah, you go. That's right, my birthday month. But
All right.
yes, sir. But let me ask you this: what type of culture do you all believe really isolates the community?
I'm sorry, what was it? I heard culture and then,
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about the outside noise, but what
oh,
type of culture do you believe, in your mind, really isolates the community these days?
it's hard for me to say what isolates it because I don't think we do that here. I think we're always looking to grow it and form positive connections, and that's opening the door and taking input and listening to the thing. So I think that communication is important. If you don't have that, that could certainly lead to isolation. But we don't have that here. Luckily, we have residents that give us good input, and we seek it on a regular basis, and we're always looking at ways to use that and move forward and be positive.
Yes, indeed. And I know obviously you spent many times on the roads and in the
Mhm.
neighborhoods, dealing with crimes and talking with people. How have you rediscovered neighborhoods in Mount Pleasant?
It's tough. I mean, we're growing so much, so it's sometimes you'll be in a different area and you'll come back to work and there's a new neighborhood popped up, and you say, "Oh, when did they start that construction?" And then all of a sudden, 20 people live in there, and you just have to be proactive and keep up with the growth and not lose focus of what's important. So those day-to-day interactions are always a good opportunity. We're riding around these cars for 10 hours a day, and at any given moment, we have the ability to influence somebody, whether that's positive or negative. So if you keep that in the back of your head and you know that every interaction could potentially change somebody's outlook of policing or law enforcement, or just they're having the worst day of their life, and you can do something to make it better. I think if you keep that mindset in there and keep in the back of your head that you've got to keep up with the growth, that it's not, you look at things as an opportunity or an obligation. So you can come into work and say, wow, this town is growing so much, and that's an obligation. Or you can have a positive mindset and say, what an opportunity. Now we have this many more people we can influence, or we can have this much more going on in the right direction.
Absolutely. And I know this is probably a question I should ask the chief or the deputy chief, but you just mentioned it just a second ago about growth. But how does the police department keep up with this growth?
We just do. We care and we make it a priority. So the chief and deputy chief are obviously very involved in committee meetings and council meetings and stuff like that. So as stuff comes out with annexations or development, we don't write the laws, but we enforce them. So when the stuff comes out and it needs to be addressed, they stay on top of it, and that all gets pushed down. And then as it gets pushed down to the officers that are working the road day in and day out, then we keep them accountable, and it all works out well.
Works out well. Now, let me ask you this, Don. What is something that the average citizen or if Mount Pleasant doesn't know about the Mount Pleasant Police Department that's really good?
So we have such a diverse group of officers, and that's what we're trying to start highlighting. So one of our officers, Officer Jean, she's a school resource officer. She's out in Tokyo. She's getting ready to run the women's 100-meter hurdles.
Yep.
She's representing her home country of Haiti.
Yes.
We have officers that are musicians and painters. We have another officer who does replica action figures, and he puts that kind of stuff out. So we're just people like everybody else. Everyone's got hobbies. Some of us try to play the guitar. Some of us are, ultra marathon runners. And that's what these events like National Night Out are so important for, because you come out and we just sparks conversation. So when someone's in a crisis or on a call, that's not going to come out. I'm not going to tell somebody a personal thing when they're having the worst day of their life. We really need to stay professional and stay focused. But these situations allow for that positive environment, and people can get to know us and know that this is who we are and this is what we got going on. So we got a lot of hidden talents in the department, and hopefully we can start doing a good job of showcasing that through social media and through interviews like this.
Absolutely. And let's talk about it. National Night Out once again. Who, what, when, where, and how?
So it is going to be the Mount Pleasant Police Department's National Night Out at Waterfront Park on Tuesday, August 3rd, 6 to 8 p.m. We are going to have a ton of giveaways, raffle. We've hooked up with Patriots Point. They've given us some raffle tickets. We're going to have our static displays, SWAT, Mobile Field Force. We have a new Harbor Patrol boat that was christened last year in 2020. That's been put out. It's been out. It's already had some great success. They went a couple miles offshore to help with the rescue just the other day. So that boat will be out there, and that'll be a great way to check that out and maybe get some water safety information. We have a police recruiter that's just come on board. She's worked for the department for almost 20 years, but it's a new position we created. So she'll be out there with a recruitment table. We have a Police Explorer program. That's for youth 14 to 20 years old that are interested in law enforcement. They'll be out there. The giveaway items, cups, keychains, sunglasses, all the cool things. Something I'm really excited about, I don't know if you know anybody that plays guitar, but we've actually put our patch on some guitar picks to kind of go with the live music theme. So I'm excited to pass out some of those for the giveaway items. Kids' activities are going to be a bounce house, a dunk tank, a foam axe throwing booth. I had to say foam because some people got nervous. So Charleston Jump Castles will be out there. With that, we got the music. We got some food trucks this year we've never had before, J-Max and Cachita's Kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And it is going to be a lot of fun. We're excited to get back to it. We hope that you come, bring a friend, bring a neighbor, tell somebody about it. Like you were saying before about how do we promote it, I've told everybody I can that lives pretty much east of the Cooper, bring your wife, bring your friends, bring your brother, bring your husband. Just come out and meet us, and we're really looking forward to having a good time.
And one last question, John. Let me ask you: how do you all, in some people's mind, how do you actually, and when it comes to community engagement, how do you combine that with accountability and transparency?
We make sure everything that we're doing is available. So like a lot of people when they're looking, like they ask for policies or procedures. Well, all of our policies and procedures are on the website. So you can go on tompsc.com and you can see the police department. So you know exactly how we're required to handle a DUI case or an arrest, or we have a specific policy on pursuits or things like that. So that's in my mind, that's the transparency, is we're out there. It's all available for people to read. And then these events kind of leave that open. So someone say, like the Citizens Police Academy is a great example. We have people come in and learn all about our agencies. So they'll say, well, can you get in a car chase with somebody who didn't have their blinker on? And we'll say, no, absolutely not. We don't do that. And we don't do that. And this is why, and this is the policy. So we have that available to us. And then the accountability, that's an internal thing. We all have to keep each other accountable. So that policy is covered in our manual, a disciplinary policy. So it outlines if we do what we're supposed to do, then we have a positive recognition section. And if we're not doing what we do, we constantly evaluate that. We have a very thorough process of approval. So if something's noted that we need to have better training on, we'll do that. If something else needs to happen, we're just constantly checks and balances, looking at what we're doing on the road, what's working, and if it needs to be adjusted. So we have everything available for the public to see, and then we hold each other accountable, and it's important.
Yes, indeed. Well, Don Calabrese, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed seeing you on running around town, and I don't know how you take those videos with your phone when you're running. It looks like I couldn't do that, but
just like this.
I do like seeing you out there, so keeping me motivated a little bit. Maybe we get together and go for a jog or something like October, November when it cools down a bit.
Absolutely, that's the deal.
All right, let me know. I'll see you around.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to come out on Tuesday?
I will do my best if I don't have any interviews to do.
All right. Yeah, I know and that's the cool thing. Every agency has a national night out. So I think the city's doing it at the baseball game, and North Charleston's doing one. So I might be biased, but I'd love for you to come out to ours.
Oh, definitely. I will do my best.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.